Hello adventurers, I'm Sam and today I am going to unbox, or rather unsatchel, the Root RPG. I'm joined today by my friend and co-host Little Henry, and normally we would come to you from Games of Berkeley, but today we have the unique experience of being in the woodland, of being in the world of the Root RPG. I don't know how we got here, and I certainly don't know how we're getting out of this wood, but it is a lot of fun to be coming to you from the world of the role-playing game. So let's take a look at what's inside. So Root the RPG is based on the board game of the same name by Leader Games. The board game is an asymmetrical strategy game in which players represent one of several factions that are vying for power and supremacy within the woodland. And so they are interacting on a board, doing battle, taking over clearings, building buildings, and depending on which faction, you're going to do that in different ways. One of the factions in the board game, I guess less a faction, more of an individual player, is known as the Vagabond. The Vagabond sort of lives in between the margins of society, doesn't belong to any one faction or clearing, is able to move through the forests with ease, is sort of a nomad. And in the role-playing game, all of the individual player characters are going to be Vagabonds. So they're going to belong to the same world as the board game, with all of these mighty factions like the Marquise de Cat and the Erie dynasties vying for political power within the woodland. But in the role-playing game, everyone takes on the role of one individual Vagabond, and they are sort of caught amidst all of this political turmoil, and their actions are going to have a direct influence upon what happens. Root RPG is powered by the apocalypse, meaning players are going to get 2d6, and they're going to use those dice to determine and resolve the outcomes of their decisions. I'm not going to talk much about the system or the mechanics themselves, but I do want to show off what comes in the deluxe satchel, so the game and all of the accessories that you can find for Root RPG. So first up, we have the core rules. This is going to come in the form of 2 books. First of all, we have the core rulebook, and these the limited edition ones are really neat. They have that sort of foil etched stamped front to them, featuring all of the characters of the factions that you can find. And this core book is everything that you need to play the game. It's going to explain the Powered by the Apocalypse rules, all of the moves, as well as some basic playbooks that you can take as characters. The introduction is also going to be really helpful for understanding how to role-play in the woodland. So it's going to tell you a little bit about role-playing games generally, if this might be your first one, but it's also going to situate you in the world really well. It's going to give you background on what's been happening in the woodland and the situation that the Vagabonds that are in your band might find themselves when you start a new campaign or just even a solo adventure. And we also have the Travelers and the Outsiders Guide, once again featuring Kyle Farron's artwork on the front cover, the different factions that you might find in the woodland here. This is going to include a few more playbook options for the Vagabonds themselves, a few new moves that you can add, as well as some of the other factions that you might encounter in the woodland that are not included in the core. So this is a really helpful, handy guide for anyone who's going to be the game master, who wants to add in a little bit more flavor. Also inside the satchel, we have a very helpful Game Master's pack, and this is going to include 3 things. First of all, it's going to include a screen to separate yourselves from the players, but it's also going to have tons of detailed information, references for rolling outcomes. It has roll tables, basic moves, triggers, pretty much everything you might need from a quick reference for the Powered by the Apocalypse rules. It's also going to come with a record sheet, so record of events of what's happening in the game, as well as a clearing record sheet. So most of your role-playing is going to be done in clearings. These are the towns, these are the villages of the woodland. And that's a helpful place for a game master to record all of their information. It also is going to come with 4 laminate maps, so clearing references, maps that you can use in the game. And we're going to have like a standard woodland, one with a couple of rivers in it. This one looks almost like a tundra or snow map. So giving you a couple different options for you to write in different clearing names and use these as a helpful reference for you and all of your players. We also have the faction dice set. So these are going to be dice that are color-coded to the different factions that you might encounter in the game, and it's going to have 2d6 for you to use, which is all you need. They're a little light, which is fine, but you know, I like the pretty colors, so I can't really complain about those. The clearing booklet. So this is like a supplemental guide. It's going to give you some clearing options if you're the game master who's trying to prepare a campaign. And finally, it comes with 2 decks of cards. One is going to be the denizens deck. Those are some people that you're going to encounter in the clearings and the people that you're going to talk to, all of your non-player characters. As well as the equipment deck, things that you can find, things that you can buy. So I've only just started reading through some of the books and flipping through the cards. I haven't played yet, but I am very excited to. And you should be as well. Magpie Games has done an exceptional job putting out just a game and accessories that I really think people are going to enjoy. You can find Root RPG and all of its accessories at Games of Berkeley or another friendly local game store near you. And as always, thank you to the wonderful patrons who support Games of Berkeley. You make videos like this possible. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. But one more thing before you go. Are you interested in playing Root RPG? If so, you should check on our website at gamesofberkeley.com. Coming up in the very near future, we're going to have a couple of short adventures of Root RPG, adventures in the woodland, where you get to play a vagabond and go on daring adventures as part of our Wednesday night role-playing game night. Seating is limited, so registration in advance is highly encouraged. You can go on gamesofberkeley.com, navigate to our RPG signups page, and you can find all of the available sessions there.